I'm Kristen Hall with Energized Nutrition, and I'm here to offer you some personal training in the kitchen, helping you to strengthen your culinary muscles. Hi there, I'm Kristen Hall, and today we're going to make a Friday fun food. We're going to dial up the health factor on traditional nachos and make veggie nachos. And if you're a little bit skeptical, I want you to know that my 14-year-old was really impressed with this dish. So let's get started. So there's 3 steps in this recipe. We need to roast the vegetables, melt the cheese, and then top our veggie nachos with our nacho toppings. So to start, we're gonna get our oven preheated to 400 degrees. When you're roasting, you want a really high temperature. So we're gonna do 400 degrees. And now the next step I need to do is take my cleaned vegetables and get them prepared for roasting. So I'm gonna start with a cauliflower, and I'm gonna cut off the bottom there and just throw that into my garbage bowl over here. So we're gonna remove all the stems, and then we're gonna cut it into nice little slices. So we don't even need these to be into florets. We just want them to be in nice little slices. Okay. So we're gonna cut them like that. Now, cauliflower is a white vegetable, so it doesn't have a ton of color, but it's got a ton of nutrition in it. Cauliflower is thought to be really helpful for our liver. It's got lots of phytonutrients in it, so it's really good for cancer prevention. And when it's roasted, it tastes nice and nutty and glorious. So we're just taking our cauliflower and chopping it in sort of flat little pieces like that. My mom always told me I was a messy cook, so let's just maybe get that cleaned up a little bit. Cauliflower, when I cut into it, sort of exploded everywhere. So we're just gonna get that cleaned up here. Okay, the next step we're gonna do is get our carrots. And we're gonna just kind of cut them on the diagonal in about a thickness that's quite similar to the cauliflower. Carrots, they're orange, so they've got lots of beta carotene in them. And we know that beta carotene, when in a food form, can also help to prevent cancer. So not only is it good for you, it tastes awesome as well. Now, these are all vegetables that are available and so-called in season right now, which is awesome in Canada. The last vegetable I'm going to prepare here is my onion. And I'm just going to actually cut both ends off the onion because I want to do slices. And so onions, surprisingly, even though they are we don't think of them as actually being a food that has some nutrition in them, but in fact they have lots of nutrition in them. So not only are they flavorful, they're good for you as well. Now, I have heard lots of ways that people tend to make them not water your eyes so much, but the only way I know how to do that is to chop quickly and safely. So what you'll see, what I just did is I cut a flat end onto my round vegetable so it's gonna not roll around on me. And that helps to make it just be a little bit safer. So I'm not at risk of cutting my hands. Okay, so I've got my veggies all prepared. How easy was that? Now what I'm gonna do is take some of my Camelina oil and I'm gonna just drizzle it over top. This Camelina oil is a local oil here in Alberta. So I'm gonna put that all over my veggies and then put my nacho seasoning over top. I've got cumin, chili powder, and onion powder within that. And now I'm just gonna mix up my veggies so that all of the veggies are coated in some oil and in some spices. Ooh, and I can feel those onions now. They are strong. But when veggies are roasted, they get caramelized and they get sweet. So if you don't enjoy veggies because you're only having them boiled or steamed, it's great if you can roast them because that makes them a little bit sweeter and makes them taste really, really yummy. Okay, I think we got it mostly mixed in there. You could use a taco seasoning if you wanted. Those are sort of pre-done for you. I just decided to use just the spices myself, but use what you have. So now what we're gonna do is take our roasting tray, and I'm gonna line it with some parchment paper. This just makes for easier cleanup. And we're gonna put our veggies into a nice single layer on our tray here. It's important that you get a single layer because what the single layer does is it allows the veggies to roast. The roasting has to happen at a really high temperature, so the veggie has to get to a really hot temperature. But when you stack them, then you're gonna end up steaming the vegetables, and we all know that steam doesn't get as hot as just roasting. So I've got a nice flat, all the veggies kind of spread out here. They're not really stacked on each other. We're gonna pop those into the oven and let them roast for about 20-25 minutes. And then we're gonna get our veggies, our toppings ready while it's roasting. So I've got these Paradise Farms tomatoes here. These are grown in Nanton, Alberta. That's where Mr. Energize is from. And I've got a whole bunch of them. And now these are quite big. But I'm gonna just chop them into quarters like that. You could use like a salsa if you wanted, or you could make your own. I'm just gonna try to keep it a little simple today and get a whole bunch of just nicely fresh tomatoes. As you can see here, I'm not measuring. And what's fun about not measuring is it just allows you to focus on what you're doing rather than being perfect with a recipe. When you can let go of needing to be tied to a recipe, you've got way more freedom in the kitchen to just focus on what tastes good and what do you have. So I've got a few more veggies, or a few more tomatoes that I'm going to chop up here. Tomatoes are rich in lycopene and other antioxidants in them. So again, we've got good tasting food that's also good for us. I think I'll do maybe one more here. Just getting that into quarters. Now the next step I'm gonna get ready is my avocado. Now I'm not sure what the state of this avocado is. It's nice and gentle. I can feel it when you sort of give it a gentle squeeze. Okay, that looks pretty good. So when you want to get the pit out, that's how I like to do it. And I want to chop these avocados into little chunks, just sort of like that. I'll actually take it out when we're dressing the nachos, but I'm just going to get it all prepared. Then I'm going to put it face down because just like apples, avocados will oxidize when exposed to the air, to oxygen. So we're going to just keep it face down so we can prevent that from browning. Another way you could prevent the browning as well is just to squeeze some lemon or lime on it, so some acid on it. So that's good to go. I happen to have some lime here, and we're gonna just squeeze that over top of our cooked vegetables when they're all ready. So we're just gonna get everything all ready here for us. I've got some sliced ripe olives that I'm gonna just, again, everything's gonna be ready to go once all the veggies are cooked for us. There we are. And then I've got some fresh parsley. You could use cilantro. Cilantro is one of those herbs that you either love it or you really don't enjoy it. And I think in our family, a flat leaf parsley is what we prefer over cilantro. But there's people who do love cilantro. So if you use what you have, and today we are using flat leaf parsley. This is gonna add in, believe it or not, these are loaded in antioxidants as well. So they're, not only are they a great garnish, they also have some nutrition in them as well. Okay, so that's all prepared. We're just gonna wait for our veggies to get finished roasting, and then we're almost ready to go here. So now we're going into step 2, which is melting the cheese on our veggie nachos. So I know that they're cooked because, first of all, I can see them. You can see that they're nice and browning, and that browning means caramelization has happened. And so caramelization means the naturally sweet sugars in the veggies have been concentrated, so they're gonna taste amazing. And I'm also gonna just check that they're done by piercing with my knife, and I can feel that they're done. So I've got my cheese all shredded, and we're gonna pop that all over these veggies. You could make these like a plant-based cheese. You could use like a cashew cheese if you wanted, but we're gonna use good old regular Canadian cheese. We're gonna pop that back into the oven for about 5 minutes and let that melt, and then we'll dress our nachos and devour. We're ready to dress our nachos. So I'm just gonna squeeze a little bit of fresh lime juice on these tomatoes, or on these nachos. And this is gonna help just give it a pop of flavor. Yeah, that looks about right. We're gonna add in some fresh tomatoes. Sliced olives, our avocado. You can see that it's nice and perfectly ripe. And I'm just gonna sprinkle that over. You could use a guacamole if you wanted. That's what I'm looking for. My other part of my avocado. And but this just makes it a pop of color, a little bit of creaminess, and some nice traditional nacho flavor. And we're gonna finish with parsley. Ready for us to devour. I'm gonna get my plate here and just serve myself a helping. I hope your family enjoys this Friday fun meal as much as I know my family will. We'll chat with you soon. Bye for now.